Do every weekday. The number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Hour number 2 is here with you. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Indeed. Used by over 3 million businesses for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Plus, need seats to a game? Download the Vivid Seats app and enter promo code CHAMPS at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Don't buy just any seat. Get a Vivid Seat. Again, 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN 98.7 FM in New York City, Michael Kay, for those of you who are Knicks fans everywhere, will have the man, the boss for the Knicks, for Madison Square Garden, etc., the one and only James Dolan, in studio. And boy, does he have some explaining to do. And you know, for me, I just want to state for the obvious. I'm only bringing it up because I brought it up yesterday. The biggest problem, James Dolan, as much as others may despise him, I'm looking at a guy that cuts the check. I'm looking at a guy that spares no expense to try to put a win on a basketball court. He hasn't been successful in 20 years. But he tries. The Larry Brown hire. The Isaiah Thomas hire at the time. The Mike D'Antoni hire with the Donnie Walsh hire. And ultimately the Phil Jackson hire. It's not like the man hasn't tried. So I'm not one that excoriates James Dolan just because he's the owner of the New York Knicks as it pertains to his decision-making as to who he hires. Because truth be told, Larry Brown and Phil Jackson were supposed to be winning situations. There's no way on earth things were supposed to regress to that point, no doubt. But the important point to point out is that James Dolan acts like a child. Charles Oakley spewing whatever he spewed at you, you're going to have security remove him. The other day, a fan says, sell a team. You're going to literally tell him it's not an opinion. That's rude. It is an opinion. It might be a rude one, but it's an opinion. And the fact that this billionaire, who's very accomplished in the business community, has such thin skin in regards to a product he has no business having thin skin about, is why you all should make sure you listen to Michael Kay today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Right there on 98.7 FM in New York City. It's unbelievable that this man would find the time to care so much about what people say. Particularly when it's justification sifting through their words. It's not like you want anything. It's not like they don't have a right to be frustrated. It's ridiculous. That's point number 1. Point number 2 about Conor McGregor. Got in trouble again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's no big deal. He snatched somebody's cell phone from them and threw it to the ground to crash it. Because he didn't want them taking pictures of him coming out of a nightclub at 5 o'clock. He can't do that. The guy was right to call the police because why should he have to pay for his phone? Because Conor McGregor crushed his phone. You wish that people would have the decency not to take pictures of you if you didn't want pictures taken of you, but that's not the real world. When you're in the public eye, for some reason, people in our nation and throughout the world are absolutely unequivocally fascinated by that stuff. They give you no privacy. I experience it every day, and I'm just a damn reporter and a pundit who was a columnist. That's all I am. I'm no actor, my career on General Hospital notwithstanding. I'm no movie star. I damn sure ain't no elite professional athlete. But somehow, some way, these people can't get enough of taking pictures and all of this other nonsense. Losing their damn minds. Grown men and women in the streets yelling my name. Bus drivers stopping traffic, literally pulling the bus up to park in the middle of the road just to scream something at me. Yes, it's happened just last week in L.A. So unbelievable. But it comes with it. And Conor McGregor's got to be big enough to handle it. Having said all of that, I'll say this about Conor McGregor. Okay? When I think about Conor McGregor, what I will tell you is this. I'm tired of seeing this man in the news for something other than winning in the damn octagon. I'm tired of it. I am sick of seeing Conor McGregor in the news for something other than winning. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time we saw Conor McGregor fight, okay, and win, I believe, if I remember correctly, was when he fought Eddie Alvarez and destroyed him with a 4-punch finish. I mean, just destroyed him at Madison Square Garden. The first UFC event at Madison Square Garden. Conor handled his business. It was something special to behold. No question about that. Ever since then, the loss to Floyd Money Mayweather, the loss to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Enough's enough. The dolly thrown at the bus and all of this other stuff. Come on, man. Win. Get back in the ring and win or sell your wine. Period. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live, Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Before I get back to the phones, I wanted to delve into another subject because I ruffled some feathers with something that I said on First Take on this radio show as well. And Barstool Sports picked it up. A guy by the name of Coley Mick, M-I-C-K. First of all, let me, believe it or not, let me applaud Coley Mick. I appreciate this article. Not just for his candor about me, although I don't agree with it in terms of his interpretation. It wasn't really about me, his interpretation of what I said. But I deeply appreciate him quoting me. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm reading the quotes here that led off his article, and he quoted me verbatim. Verbatim. Every word in here, I said it. So I particularly when it comes to Boston, if we can have a white superstar, that would be even better. And they view Gordon Hayward as having that kind of potential. So, all of those things considered, the players recognized this, were aware of this. And ultimately, those who were compromised by having to be on the court with Gordon Hayward were sensitive to it. Not because they don't like him, not because he's not a good guy, because he is a good guy. It's just that they know he hasn't fully recovered 100% from his injury. So he's not the same as he used to be. They know he's going to be a step slower. They know he's going to be compromised. I have spoken to people in the league who literally have said, look, man, no disrespect to Gordon Hayward, nice guy, but he's really, really compromised right now. He's not the same guy that he was. And they said, quote, we actually kind of feel sorry for him because he is a nice guy and we know he's trying to come back from injury. Ladies and gentlemen, Coley Mick quoted me 100% accurate. That's right, I said it. I said every damn word that he just quoted me as saying. Absolutely true. Okay? Then he goes on and sit up there and said, I amuse him. You know, he loves me. Some of the things that I say, I don't agree with the part about me being horny all hours of the day. It's a few hours in the day, yes, but not all hours of the day. I digress. The point is, he said all of that is objectively funny stuff, but that does not mean he is immune from having a putrid take. So he considers my take putrid. All right? And then through the line, this is akin to saying Dwayne Haskins is a running quarterback. Touche. Because I was foolish enough to say that because I watched one game against Purdue where he ran the ball 15 times, and I watched him against Ohio State where he was playing in that spread. I'm sorry, against Michigan where he was playing that spread offense and being evasive before throwing the football. But that's fair. I don't have a problem with that. Nobody's perfect, neither am I. Let me state so everybody there understands where I'm coming from with the Gordon Hayward thing. Gordon Hayward had a nasty, nasty injury against Cleveland in Game 1 of last season. 5 minutes on the court for the Boston Celtics after signing a $130 million deal. This dude is hurt. Ankle area leg just shattered to the point where guys got off the bench and ran towards the tunnel because they couldn't even look at the injury. LeBron James looked near tears. Dwayne Wade instantly got on his knees and prayed. That's how bad the injury was. So what happens is that there was speculation as to whether or not he would be ready to play before at least the middle of this season. Lo and behold, the next season arrives. He's ready to go Game 1. Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens, and those boys insert him into the starting lineup from day one. Never mind what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and those boys looked like through the playoffs last year, coming within one game of the NBA Finals when they lost the Game 7 to LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers in Boston. Never mind that them brothers showed up. Terry Rozier and Marcus Smart and those boys coming off the bench looking the way that they look. Never mind all of that. Never mind the chemistry and cohesiveness that they had developed. This was a new season. And even though Gordon Hayward could run up and down the court, could cut, could make moves, he wasn't himself. And they put him in the starting lineup anyway. And based on the people that I spoke to, the players were in a quandary. Because on one hand, they genuinely like the guy. He's a good guy. And oh, by the way, when healthy, like he will be next year, he can ball. But because he wasn't 100% healthy, to immediately insert him into the starting lineup took a few guys aback. Number one, because you had guys like Kyrie Irving, who's going to be a free agent, like a Terry Rozier, who's going to be a free agent. Especially in the case of a Terry Rozier. You're looking at somebody and you're saying, excuse me, we're slower when we're on the court with this guy. We're not as potent when we're on the court with this guy. How beneficial is this for us? How beneficial could this be for me? I didn't speak to Terry Rozier about this personally. I'm telling you the kind of conversations that I've had with people who know him, people connected around the league, etc., etc. So you have that speculation, number one. And then the big speculation, which is probably what rubbed Coley Mick the wrong way, and I respect that. I respect that. I want to be, listen, I'm going to dissect this thing a little bit, but let me preface my comments by saying, Coley Mick, wherever you are, I took no offense to what you wrote. And I'm not coming at you in any kind of negative way. If I was, you'd know. I'm not doing that. That's unnecessary. It's totally fair what he wrote. This is his perspective, and I respect it. I just respectfully disagree because I'm getting to a bigger point here that people misconstrue, and maybe it's because my unwillingness to hesitate when it comes to pointing out discrepancies, unfairness, bigotry, racism, and beyond. Maybe that's the reason people assume certain positions that I take, and my response would be, you clearly don't know me very well. Yes, I did go on to talk about the city of Boston, alluding to how it would prefer a white superstar. I didn't say you don't want a black superstar. I didn't say you wouldn't accept and absorb a black superstar. When you won the championship in 2008, I saw how rabid, how great that Boston fan base was. Doc Rivers was a black coach. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Ray Allen, all brothers from another month, from the same culture. But let's be clear about something here. They ain't Bird. Never will be. They ain't Havlicek. Never will be. You want stories about what it's like to be in Boston? Why don't you talk to Bill Russell? We know this story. We also know, in fairness to the city of Boston, because I know a lot of folks in there, even the a-hole that I had to deal with on WEEI. That's just one person. There's a lot of people on that station that's good people. There's a lot of people that oppose at other stations that are good people. Michael Holley is my brother. That's my man. Black dude living in Boston raves about the city. Boston has evolved. Boston has come a long way. And I get all of that. I'm not excoriating Boston. I love I hate the Patriots smoking everybody all the time. But the fan base in Boston is phenomenal. I love coming to Boston. And those fans are phenomenal to me. They treat me marvelous. I love the atmosphere at TD Bank Garden. I hope you make the finals like I predicted you would. It'll be bananas up in that town. No question. But Boston's a little bit different than most towns. You do have some history. And even though it's not filled with the venom and vitriol that once existed in that town, is there a preference that I believe potentially exists? Absolutely, I do. I'm not apologizing for that. Not at all. Here's where somebody like Coley Mick misses where I'm coming from. When I talk about Boston or various other cities, you might prefer a white superstar. You're assuming I'm saying that's a bad thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I got news for you. Are you ready for this news flash? Are you ready for this new note? If I were the owner of a basketball team in the NBA, I would want a white superstar. Are you ready for that? Did you hear that? I would want a white superstar. They're more marketable. They're more marketable. Could you imagine? 66% of the American population is white. Do you know what I could do with a white superstar in basketball? You think I'm going to apologize for that? That's where Coley Mick completely misconstrued what I'm saying. I'm not denigrating Boston for this. You Danny Ainge, you're the Celtics ownership. You're not shunning anybody. You're not being prejudiced against anybody. You're not denying a star the opportunity to be a star because he's in Boston. You're not saying that they're not going to be marketable or sellable. You're not doing that. But if you had a white superstar in Boston, they're going to be more marketable than a black superstar. That's right, I said it. Yeah, I said it. And I don't have a problem with it. If I were an owner of a basketball team in the NBA and I had an opportunity to have a white superstar, I would be in heaven. Because America, 66% of the population is white. And I know that I'm going to be able to market and sell and profit off of that individual more than others. And Gordon Hayward, before his injury, had the potential to be that guy. He could ball that good. And I think he'll be back, by the way. I don't think the 30-point performance against Golden State the other night was an accident. It's just a matter of health. Where it becomes a bit dicey as it pertains to my position on this entire matter is because you put him in the starting lineup immediately and you knew he wasn't ready. You knew he wasn't ready. And where the discomfort comes in as it pertains to the conversation, how many people would you have done that for? In Brad Stevens' case, I pointed out how this man played for Brad Stevens at Butler. You trying to tell me it's beyond the pale that there's a personal, elevated level of affection that he had for Gordon Hayward that where others may pale in comparison? I don't think that's beyond the pale. And as it pertains to Danny Ainge, the brilliant executive that he is, paying attention to the optics, paying attention to your constituents, understand what they would potentially gravitate to even more so. I'm not saying that they would gravitate to him at the expense of winning, but if you could win while having someone that, dare I say, you better identify with, you're trying to tell me that's good, that's a bad thing? That's not only a good thing, it's good business. It's good business. We all know it. Let me ask you this question, ladies and gentlemen. If LeBron James, are you ready for this, Nuno? What if LeBron James were white? Could you imagine how huge he would be? It's as unfathomable as it is to imagine LeBron James actually being bigger than the already global iconic brand that he is. Could you imagine if LeBron James with that skill set were white? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you right now, wouldn't bother me one bit. You think that when they go and get these European players, Luka Doncic can ball, you don't think his pigmentation helps make him more marketable? You're damn right it does. I know it makes you uncomfortable, but it's the truth. The NBA, like almost any league, so salivates over a white superstar. They don't give a damn whether they're from America, England, or the Ukraine. Because it sells. It's business. That's not ostracizing anybody. That's not keeping anybody out. That's not being prejudiced or bigoted or anything in any way. It's paying attention to where the dollars flow. It's just reality. Ladies and gentlemen, Nuno, can I ask you a question before we go to break? Larry Bird destroyed a few basketball souls, didn't he? Game-winning shots, the marksmanship. He's probably one of the greatest shooters. He's unquestionably one of the greatest shooters that ever played the game of basketball. Larry Bird was phenomenal. 3-time league MVP, 3-time champion. This dude was unreal. Ladies and gentlemen, did Larry Bird ever experience what Russell Westbrook experienced? Did Larry Bird have ethnic slurs sprayed on the gate, on the gate of his home like LeBron James did? Did Larry Bird ever have any kind of problems like that? Coley Mick. Great article. It doesn't mean that just because I disagree with some of your points doesn't mean it wasn't a great article and great work on your part. But he took it as a negative. It wasn't a negative. I'm just giving you reality. Gordon Hayward's relationship with Brad Stevens. And for whatever reason you want to pick apart him being inserted into that starting lineup, disjointed the Celtics a little bit, if not a lot. You could pick apart the reasons why, and I'm sure there are several, if not many. I picked apart one of them. I said it. I meant it. I have no problem with anybody having a problem with my position. Just quote and interpret me accurately. That's all I ask. And I'm good with it. I know that makes people uncomfortable, but I'm going to say it one last time. If I was owning an NBA team and I could have a white superstar, I'd be in heaven. Because I know they're going to sell.